This is why I was so adamant about getting treatment a year ago, because I didn't want to get to the point where I was in pain all day, every day. And I didn't want to get to the point where I was like literally wasting away. I didn't want any of this. Like I did not want any of this. And now I'm here. I have this severe pain every day. Is this recording the audio? Okay. All right, I'm gonna do it. Happy New Year and welcome to another vlog. This video is a follow-up to the video I made last year called My GI Health Timeline. I am gonna focus purely on my symptom progression, like throughout the years since basically like 2018 through the end of 2022. And I'm also going to open up about a symptom that I've had for quite a while that I thought really wasn't that big of a deal until the past couple of months, where it has completely taken over my life. And this symptom has started to make my weight and my ability to eat just take a total nosedive because of how debilitating it is. So let's get into it. So from the summer of 2018 to the end of 2020, so for like 2.5 full years, my GI issues just slowly got worse, but it was never enough for me to be like super worried about. I did talk to a couple of doctors about my stomach pain, decreased appetite, nausea, prolonged fullness, constipation, and bloating, but they all told me it was due to my past of like an eating disorder and that I still wasn't eating in like a balanced enough way for my gut and like overall GI system to work properly. And that explanation that I got from doctors from like 2018 to 2020, so for like 2.5 years, that explanation made sense to me because I knew that a lot of people who were underweight and who calorie restricted for a lot of years, like the place that I was from 8th grade, the day I graduated high school, like full 5 years, I knew that really restrictive eating disorders like that could lead to people having like GI issues for a long time. So when like I got those explanations from doctors, it really made sense to me. And I just kept pushing through any discomfort that I had as much as possible. And when I had stomach pain, which could at times be like quite severe, I would just deal with it. And I would stay fairly quiet about it. And when I met my husband, Robert, in March of 2020, he encouraged me to like keep talking about these issues with my primary care doctor. And so I saw her multiple times during 2020, and there were just no significant conclusions or results from that. Again, if you want to see like me break down like all those appointments, watch the first timeline video for a breakdown of all of those appointments. And the symptom that actually most concerned like Robert was my stomach pain. So after a larger meal or even like a regular sized meal, I would complain of being in intense pain for like hours. We would often like have to eat and then schedule time for me to like lay down because I was in so much pain. And I've not emphasized my pain like that much on this channel so far because like stomach pain, like colloquially, like how people use it, it can be so vague. And most doctors like dismiss it because stomach pain could refer to anything from like mild nausea to like trapped gas, cramping, to even like gut lining inflammation, to spasms. Like it covers such a wide range. And doctors like often just like don't take that complaint that seriously, because one of the first things I complained about when I saw a doctor about my GI issues in 2018, like the first thing I said was like stomach pain, and it just like wasn't even acknowledged because stomach pain and stomach ache can just mean so many things and doctors hear it so much. It's just hard for them to even know what it means when you say that. So like even in my mind, because doctors explained it away, I explained the pain away. And I was like, no, this is just my body punishing me for like having an eating disorder and then being vegan and being orthorexic. It's just my body like punishing me for like not eating balanced. And so I would just like try to get through it. And like the pain that I felt during that time, it also ranged. Like it could be like general overfullness, it could be pain from bloat, or it could be this like super intense like chest tightness and pressure pain after eating. And that is something that I should have paid more attention to, and I like wish I had now. So, but it was hard to like pin down the pain because the pain was in a variety of places for a variety of reasons. And I just told myself like, yep, my body just does this. I just have pain. Like I explained it away. But then in early 2021, there was an incident that like changed the whole way that Robert and I thought about my GI issues. And I've never told the story on this vlog, but I want to now. And the reason I've never told this story before is because it didn't make sense to me. And I've tried to explain it with many different theories. I've tried to tell this story to doctors, and no one's really ever been able to understand it or explain it to me. And so everyone's kind of like just pushed it to the side. But it's like such a big symptom now. And like ever since early September where honestly, I've had bouts of like these pain attacks that are so severe that like I've had to leave work like early on certain days, like because of them. But I'll get into that later. So 2021 was a huge year for Robert and I. We got engaged at the end of January and we got married in July. So we only had like 5 months to plan our wedding, and we still had to work around the pandemic. And it was just like a super stressful year, but it was a really good year. 2021 was a stressful, but it was a good year. And also like our engagement was very spur of the moment. Robert proposed to me in his apartment on a Saturday night, the day he bought the ring. Like he couldn't wait. He just proposed right away. I was happy that we got engaged how we did. However, that meant we didn't have any photos from the night that we got engaged. And we wanted some nice engagement photos when we announced it on Facebook. So on February 6th of 2021, we asked my sister Sonia to take our engagement photos for us on Duke University's campus. And they turned out amazing. She did a better quality job than like many professionals. She did a fantastic freaking job. And so on February 6th of 2021, we met up with Sonia and we took her out to lunch at a restaurant in Durham called Grub before she took the photos. And treating her to lunch was like the least that we could do to thank her for doing this for us. And she was also like doing it partially as a gift, but like we still wanted to thank her, took her out for this lunch. And at lunch, I had a chicken salad sandwich on like 7-grain bread with some Greek pasta salad on the side. I ate the whole sandwich. It had chicken, cranberries, walnuts, and celery in the chicken salad. And then it had fresh greens and the bread was like buttered and it was super, super good. The Greek pasta salad had olive oil dressing and vegetables. And I felt totally fine after lunch. I was not in any pain. I wasn't bloated. I wasn't nauseated. And that was like the main meal I had the whole day because like I hadn't eaten breakfast. Like I felt fine after that one big meal. And like the photos turned out really well. And around 5 p.m. like that day, Sonia went home. And Robert and I went back to his apartment to change clothes because we were getting drinks at Ciderworks with like one of Robert's couple friends. And they had also like just gotten engaged. So at 7 p.m. that night, we went to Ciderworks and met up with these friends. And we had a great time like initially. And it was my first time there. And my first time like meeting these particular friends of Robert's. So I wanted to make like a really good impression. Robert and I only drank about 8 ounces each of cider. So it was not a lot of alcohol. And after we'd been there for like an hour and a half, around like 8:30 p.m., I started to have stomach pain. And I tried to ignore it, but it kept getting worse. And it got to the point where my chest, like right here, like right under here, felt tight. And it was just really hard to breathe. And everyone noticed like how quiet I was. I was kind of sitting like this. And when I finally admitted to being like in a lot of pain and struggling to breathe, Robert's friends like rushed us back to our apartment. And when we got back, like I was super weak and I was shaking. I was in all this pain, and it was also like more of like a chest pain, and it was super sharp and severe, like more there was like a stomach pain. So like Robert was super worried. We thought about like going to the ER, but like we ended up not going. The intensity of the pain like slowly decreased, but it still just like I felt that like pressure, like pressing all night. It was hard to sleep. It was just really frustrating. So I barely slept, and they were just like pressure and pain there all night. And so then after that, Robert was like, look, like this is like a new development. You have to go see a doctor about this. So you just have to go talk to your doctor about this, and it's like really talk about it. So I was like, okay. So on February 17th of 2021, I saw my primary care doctor, the one that I had been seeing since the end of 2019, like about these stomach aches, and we'd not figured it out. I went to see her on February 17th of 2021, and I was like talking about this pain. I was like, you have to help. And she told me like, I don't know how to help you with this. Like I've honestly probably should have referred you to a gastroenterologist like way sooner, honestly, she like admitted. And she was like, I've been trying to help you with this for like a year and a half, because like I saw her for the first time in December of 2019, and back in 2018 I've been talking to like my gynecologist about all of you. And it was not until like December of 2019 that I saw a primary care doctor about this issue specifically. And then I saw her a bunch in 2020. We did a few tests, tried a few things, and then this was February 17th of 2021. And she's like, look, I've probably seen you for too long to begin with before referring you out, so I'm gonna refer you out to a gastroenterologist. So yeah, so the gastroenterologist that she referred me to, I could not see that gastroenterologist until May of 2021. And between like that night on the 6th and seeing the gastroenterologist at the end of May, my GI symptoms just like got worse. They just like got way worse. So I started having like daily acid reflux, and I would have nights where like my food or my dinner specifically would come back up after eating. So I would eat until I felt the food start to come back up, which would happen like well before I finished a meal. It would start to come back up and I would stop eating. And I even like fully threw up a couple of times after like a larger dinner meal, but I didn't throw up like a super large amount. It was more like regurgitation and like stuff half coming up. And then my nausea got worse, my appetite got lower, before, and I became kind of scared to eat because of the nausea and the risk the food would either come up like as a regurgitation or as like acid reflux, and it was just like a difficult time. And I remember I even like nearly choked on food at certain points because it would start to come back up while I was trying to swallow. And Robert would always help me during those times. He would like rub my back and try to like encourage me, because I would have food stuck in between a lot of times, and I would need to like try to relax and like try to swallow it, because it was just like a disaster trying to get myself to eat during that time. But I fought very hard to keep my weight on, and I would like fight and try to eat through the symptoms, like as long as I wasn't like regurgitating a lot. And then like that same pain, like right here, kind of came and went since that night in February, but it never got as intense as it was at Ciderworks, so I brushed it off as like not being important. And I was used to being in pain from eating, and I was used to all different types of pain. Like I was used to cramping and bloating and prolonged fullness, and this new like more intense version of like the pressure pain, like right at the top of my abdomen, lower chest. I just got used to pushing through it. Like I got used to pushing through it because whenever I was full, like ever since college, I would have this pain, but like it was just never as intense as it was that night. So my appointment with the gastroenterologist was May 24th of 2021, and it was a gastroenterologist through UNC Health, and I only saw her like that one particular time. And as you guys know, if you've been following the series, my current gastroenterologist is through Duke Health, and I saw her for the first time in January of 2022 when I started documenting my GI journey on YouTube. So anyway, I tried to explain to the gastroenterologist through UNC Health that my symptoms were like really affecting me from like an upper GI standpoint. And I mentioned that night in February with the like super intense pain attack, as well as like my nausea, regurgitation, acid reflux, loss of appetite. However, despite listening to everything that I said, like I was in that room for like an hour and a half, listened to everything I said, took super like thorough notes. Like the doctor and the PA that was there, they just focused on like my constipation, which as you know, GI doctors love to focus on that. And like at the time I was having constipation. Like I definitely was constipated. The gastroenterologist, I felt, failed to understand was like, she was like blaming the symptoms on skipping meals and under eating, even though like the symptoms were what was causing me to do that, if that makes sense. But anyway, they said that I was falling back into my eating disorder and that I had to address that. They told me that, I didn't say that. And they also said that I should take stool softeners daily to like fix the bowel movement issue. And I was really sad that my upper GI issues like were not being addressed in the way I thought they should have been. But also I thought like maybe this doctor is right. Like I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's wrong with me. And this doctor is telling me that like being backed up is just causing all these problems and all this pain and all these symptoms. So I really did trust the doctor, and I thought that if I just fixed the constipation, I would feel better. And I really wanted that to be true. Like I totally did. And I totally was like, you know what, maybe this really is the reason. And so I started like paying closer attention to my bowel movements. I tried some natural remedies that I used to use in my vegan days, like chia pudding and more water-rich vegetables. And at the time that all this was going on, I was living with my parents because Robert and I weren't married yet. And so they told me to add like a fiber supplement, and my mom helped me like plan my meals and like not skip meals. And so I followed all the advice of the gastroenterologist, hoping that it would help me feel better. And as I've discussed before, a week after Robert and I got married, so basically like the first week of August, I went gluten-free. And I started developing this theory about what happened on February 6th, was I tried to attribute the reaction to gluten. Because even though the cider was gluten-free, like my lunch that day had been super gluten heavy. And so I was like, mystery solved. It was a reaction to gluten that was just delayed. That's what it is. And I stayed gluten-free for the rest of 2021 and then part of like the beginning of 2022. And I told everyone that like gluten was the cause of like everything. I was like, y'all, it was gluten all along. That caused my pain. That caused my nausea. That caused my constipation, regurgitation. That caused everything. And looking back now, I can see why initially, like when I stopped eating gluten, it helped, because like when I stopped eating gluten, I was eating like very more like protein rich, and I was cooking everything at home. I stopped eating like anything super sugary, and like just I basically like was eating a lot healthier when I stopped eating gluten. And so I can see why that initially made me feel better, and it initially helped the constipation, helped all these things. And like Robert and I were cooking at home together, and it was like a very positive thing for us not eating gluten. But like that only helped for like 2 months. But by October, like I was back to just like really bad symptoms. And I started having like bloating that was just more severe than I'd ever ever experienced. Like, it was bloating where I like looked pregnant. And then I got really concerned and I was like, I need to see a doctor again, because I'd never had bloating that was just like that bad. And then the bloating was just making my appetite less, and like everything just went back to how it was. And then if y'all have been following the GI journey and watched the other video, you would also know that in November of 2021, I started throwing up after I ate like almost any meal. And that was super concerning because I'd never, like I said, I was throwing up a little bit earlier in the year, but it was more of like a regurgitation. It wasn't like I would throw up a bunch of times after eating, which started happening in November. And then like I would have, a lot of pain from fullness really, really quickly. So like I would get full from foods way more quickly, and just things deteriorated through the end of 2021. They definitely did. So yeah, I don't want to rehash like every little thing that happened in 2021 because I've made other videos about it. Like if you want to watch the original GI health timeline video that I made, you can watch that. And I am in a lot of pain while filming this, so it's just like struggling. But I just want to talk about the pain and what has recently happened with it. That's what I really want to go to now. But yeah, like things just got worse through the end of 2021. Like Robert and I even went to the ER at one point because I was throwing up so much and they couldn't help us, and things just progressed. And then in 2022, I started documenting it on YouTube and the whole journey unfolded, which you guys have already seen videos about. But I just am trying to get to talking about this pain and these pain attacks. The pain attacks did happen to be that severe as like the cider works like incident. They did happen after that night, and I haven't discussed it in videos really because I had like another theory about it, and I actually mentioned this theory briefly in my like 15 reasons why I know I have gastroparesis video. After I realized like the pain attacks were not from gluten, I contributed them to gastroparesis. And there was like a rare symptom in gastroparesis where you can have severe pain from muscle spasms. And these muscle spasms occur when your stomach is like very full and it's like trying to accommodate the food and it's like struggling to accommodate it. So like the muscle spasm, instead of like your stomach, like instead of like breaking down the food the way the muscles would in like a person without gastroparesis, like the muscles like just spasm and it caused all this pain. And like that explanation like used to make, I'm just in so much pain now. Like that explanation like used to make sense to me until in like November of 2022, the pain became constant. And this pain is like extremely particular, and I just like want to explain it and like the levels of it. Because like for the past like couple of months, like I have been in constant pain throughout the day of like varying intensities. And this pain involves chest tightness, pressure directly like mid-chest under my ribs, right where the two ribs meet at the bottom, just like right here. So like where my finger is, like the crux of the pain. And it's like having the wind like knocked out of myself perpetually without the impact of a fall or something, obviously. It's like there's a belt pushing on my abdomen that is like wrapped around me, right around the base of my ribs, but like right where the soft squishy part is, like right there, like right where the ribs like stop and become like a little squishy, like right freaking there. When this pain is occurring, no matter the severity of it, my nausea is worse. I'm more likely to like regurgitate food or like vomit. Eating instead of like even drinking like anything at all makes the pain more intense, and it like feels hard to breathe. During the worst times with this pain, like with this pressure, it feels hard to talk through it. Like right now it's really hard to talk, and it just like moves from like a pressure to like a stabbing sensation. And it can also feel like a burning ball like right in the middle of my chest. But again, like it's not my upper chest or like anywhere near my heart. It's like the bottom of my chest where like my ribs meet for the last time. The top of my abdomen, like just right here. And it has like levels with it, like this pain, which I started to realize when I began to feel like some level of it all day, every day in like early November. And feeling this pain in like all its various levels also made me realize that I've felt this pain way more often than I thought, because previously like I was only counting this pain when it was as bad as it was that night in February of 2021. And this pain from intense pressure like after large meals truly started in college, like when I was eating those huge vegan meals all the time, like back when I thought it was just the part of being full, like in back this pain just feels so familiar. Like I know I've had it for a long time, but like now it's coming to the point where it's like all the time and it's like unbearable. It's even just like struggling to breathe and talk and like move, and it just hurts like so much. And when I go back and watch other vlogs, I can even see myself having this pain and like not talking about it, just like how pained I am. I've mentioned pain in other vlogs, and I know like pain with gastroparesis is common, but like it doesn't feel like it's from my stomach being too full. Like I used to think that it was that, but like my stomach doesn't even feel full. It's like my stomach can feel empty, and I'm just having this like severe freaking pain. And like when I'm having this pain, like I can't even focus on anything. And like the first time that I had that pain attack in like February of 2021, I'd only eaten one meal the entire day. And then it's like that couldn't have been from my stomach being too full when like my gastroparesis was like way not as bad back in February of 2021, but I had this like terrible pain attack. And like I used to think this pain was like from gastroparesis, but like I don't think it is. I don't know what's causing this pain, but like food eating makes it worse. Like if I eat, it will make it worse, and like I'll get more nauseous and like have like more issues like if I eat. So like I'm just not eating that much. And I'm gonna talk about it in next week's video that I'm not eating very much. I did not expect to like start having a pain attack like while I was filming this video, and so it's really messing me up. Like I can't even read my script now, which is just frustrating. Like I don't even think the script is like very good. Like it's so hard to describe this pain, and I feel like this video is gonna be so rambly because like I'm not well nourished right now. Like I've lost a good bit of weight, and I've not been wanting to mention the weight loss because I'm worried that I'll like gain it back at some point, even though like I don't see myself being able to eat anytime soon. Like this is why I was so adamant about getting treatment a year ago, because I didn't want to get to the point where I was in pain all day every day, and I didn't want to get to the point where I was like literally wasting away. I didn't want any of this. Like I did not want any of this, and now I'm here. I have this severe pain every day, almost the entire day. If I don't eat, it's a light pressure. And if I do eat, and I had a small serving of ice cream before I started filming this video, and I've barely eaten all day. I had a protein bar and a small serve of ice cream, and it's like 2 p.m. So I've barely eaten all day. And I had them before I started filming this video, and now the pain is just like so severe. So like I know eating makes it worse, but it doesn't feel like gastroparesis related. It might be. It might just be a muscle spasm, but it doesn't feel like a spasm. And it can last like so long. Like the severe version of this pain can last so long. It can last like an entire day. I've had it last multiple days before. Like at this intensity that I'm feeling right now, I've had it like I'll go to bed in pain and I'll wake up in pain. Like I'll be in this much pain for days. And then it will calm down a little bit to like just the pressure, and then it will like ramp back up again. Like just this pain is like destroying me, and I'm just not eating very much at all because if I'm not in severe pain, I'm super nauseous. And it used to be that I would get nauseous after a larger amount of food or a larger meal, but now I'll get nauseous from a protein bar, and then I'll be nauseous for hours after. Like things have just evolved so much, and things started evolving this much when I started having this pain way more, which was actually back in September. I had to leave work on September 1st of 2022 because of a severe pain attack that was way worse than 2021. It was like so bad that I couldn't walk, and I felt like I was like faint, and that happened. I had to leave work, and I was like in just so much pain. I had to like lay in bed like the whole rest of the day, and that happened on September 1st. So then all throughout September, I was dealing with like pain, and I just attributed it to gastroparesis and like just that getting worse. And then like October, I was sick all of October, so like October is just a wash. I barely even remember October. And then starting like mid-November, I started having these really bad pain attacks, like a whole lot, and then it became just like constant that I have like a pain attack every single day, and like that I just have really severe pain every single day, especially if I eat. So it is food related. Like it does affect my eating like significantly. I'm in this much pain, like I don't want to put anything in my stomach. It's anything that I put in my stomach, like it makes the pain way worse. So it definitely could be gastroparesis related. I don't know, but it's just like tearing me apart. Like I'm in so much pain right now. I don't even know why I'm still making this video, but I want to like illustrate this. Because I wanted to make this video because I'm going to talk to my doctor about this pain in my next appointment that I have with her, which is coming up in a couple weeks. And I just want this story to be documented, but now I feel like it's just so hard to explain this pain, and I feel like y'all aren't even going to understand it. Not because y'all aren't like capable of understanding it, it's because like no one understands it. Like any doctor that I've ever tried to bring up this pain to like does not get it, because it feels like it's right here. Like it's right freaking here. It hurts so bad. But like when my stomach's really full, I feel it a little lower. and I feel like it's like pressing on my other organs, and I feel like it's pressing on the sides, like when my stomach is really full. I feel it like all over, and this pain is right here, and like that's what makes it different. I don't know, but like I've felt this pain like for so many years whenever I've been full. Like I've only ever experienced this pain before in combination with being full. Like my whole stomach will be expanded and I'll be really full, and then I also have this pain right here. And now, ever since like November, I just have the pain and nausea before my stomach even gets full at all. Which is why my weight's like going super far down, because like and my appetite and my ability to eat is going far down, because like I'm having this pain and nausea before my stomach's even full. Like I know my stomach's not full. My stomach does not feel full, but I have all this pain and all this nausea and like even vomiting at times from like some yogurt and out of like a whole meal. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I thought this video was going to be helpful and shed some light on a new subject, and I don't know if I explained it well. I don't know. But I'll see you in the next video. The next video is going to be a calorie and weight video where I'm going to bare all the details about everything about the calories that I'm eating currently, my current weight, as well as I went back and like tracked all my calories to the extent that I could for all of 2022, so all of last year, and made it into graphs and all this stuff, compared to my weight, and there's a huge video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe. If you have an idea what this pain might be, let me know in the comments. I don't know if I explained it well at all, but I tried, and that's all I can really do. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.